I've created all sorts of barriers for myself. This is Haizhen log number 72, and it's the first one that I've done in a while where there's a video recording. The last number, I guess this whole thing has been quite experimental in some ways. There's been an evolution of the way I've been creating these videos. Some are really literally just like off the cuff. Others are kind of like walking around in public. Some are kind of like studio versions with like lights and stuff like that. And then most recently I did a couple with audio only. And I've been thinking for a number of days to get back into the studio to set up again. Like you can see my little light in the back there and all of the things that I'd cleaned up. I even have like this new blue light, and I was like working on my setup and things. And up until like this very moment, like literally before I hit the start button, I was kind of sat behind a number of barriers. It's interesting to notice the difference because I guess I had stopped for some time to give myself some space and to let go of almost the structure that I had created for myself, these guidelines for me to move through to get to wherever I needed to go. So partly I needed some space to just create. Sorry, not create, but more do some planning and some work for myself. One thing that I found really interesting in that time that I had taken off from consistently recording this content every day is that it gave me the space to sit back, reorganize, and actually take action in some of the other parts of this work that I'm doing right now. The idea of work actually gives me pause. In the last number of days, I think it's maybe been 6 or 7 days, almost a week, where I haven't filmed any specific content for this channel. And sitting here today, this morning, thinking about like, it didn't feel comfortable. Part of that is falling out of the routine of things. And falling out of routine makes it sound like I've done something wrong, because it's like, who wants to fall? So choosing to step back from the routine was where I was initially, and now to get back into this, it felt like, oh, I need to like start big again and make it look good and all of this. And I realized that I was putting up barriers for myself to actually get in front of this camera again, and for the purposes of these logs to share that like real-time reflection. Having time to reflect, especially in the first couple months, has been really helpful. It opened up the space to then actually step back and think about what I was doing. Because if you sit there and make 60 videos, one every day for 2 months, and first off, it's like the way that I approached it, there's no planning. Like I didn't plan this, if it's not obvious already. Reviewing the content and kind of looking at all of that, wondering what that message that's coming out is a little bit curious to watch back and see all of the content that I had created and wondering what the messaging behind it was. Part of me still feels like showing up on different platforms looks a certain way. And when there's that expectation, it's easy to have the expectation not be met. So I'm here right now to move past those barriers. Because, like, why? I think that this time for reflection will be really, really key to keep moving forward. It's almost like the very first video that I did. It's like, oh, time to make some videos because somebody on TikTok told me to. Today I'm making the choice to just get back on here and record something. I've had some momentum in the last while, which is really nice. I've scheduled and delivered 3 sessions, and so far with great results. So I'm excited about that. And I realized in the last week that, there was a gap from intellectually understanding that I needed to feel into the way that I want to be, and then actually embodying that feeling. Because to know how to feel or how you want to feel is one thing, and then to actually feel it is the other. How before you do something for the very first time, you can't know how you're going to feel, or you can't feel how you're going to feel until it happens. Ultimately, the action needs to happen. So that's where I was. I was taking action. I started delivering sessions, and first I was a bit apprehensive about reaching out to people. I started where it felt safe. I had a friend from school who was interested and actually, in some ways, received a session in the sense that I had no structure. I had the general intention of what I would like to deliver, and then from a product perspective, it wasn't well defined. And with my friend, I was able to get some really great feedback, and that helped me to structure my next session, and then to apply that structure to the 3rd session as well. And as I'm going through the different sessions, actually doing the things, I've learned it felt right. It felt great to be able to help and guide others in that way. It felt like the right thing to do. And then the second thing was it helped me to further structure what those sessions look like. At times there's this pressure that I feel to deliver something that's fully formed. I was preparing some of the other videos that I had shot to be uploaded, and one of them I was talking about how it's important to make bad art. Not purposely bad, but because you haven't done it, you'll not do it as nicely or as polished or as finished as you may envision it. It kind of gets back to the idea of doing your best to make a plan, and pretty much almost always, regardless of what the plan is that you make, it will turn out differently. It won't be exactly like one for one. So building in flexibility in your plan is important. So all of this is to say, if you're out there struggling, if you've been thinking about doing something, just do it. Do something, the first step. And it begins to open up like a pathway towards your end goal. Like, think about it now, wherever you are. If you're sitting at home, like in your bedroom, if you're like wherever, cool, right? But you're actively doing something, maybe you're multitasking, maybe you're just like watching, and you're likely thinking of something that you want to do. Like, what's that thing that you've always wanted to do? Before you can get out of the room that you're in, you have to walk through the door. If you're not going to even take that first step, how are you going to get out the house? And if you're not willing to walk into the next space, right? Like, if I had to get to the mall and I wanted to be there, that's my goal. Because at the mall is the things that I want. I can go and see all the different shops and browse and shop, but I can't see that necessarily here. I can't teleport there. I can't sit here and think myself over there. I actually have to take action. And that action starts with one step. Whether from here it's to stand up, maybe that's the appropriate step. For something that's as easy as walking out of this room. But for something that's like really scary, like if you're like, you don't know what's on the other side of that door, you can only imagine. So then maybe the first step is just standing up, taking one step, taking another, getting closer, maybe peeking that door open. That's like exploring your environment, doing your research, trying to get like a little bit like of a preview of what's coming out. But until you walk through that door, you won't know what it's like. I could sit here and give you like tangible steps. You can sit there and pull out a piece of paper and write all of the things that you want to do. Cool, you got it on paper. You can make a plan and put them in order of priority and all of these things. But if you're not going to actually take action and do anything, you're not going to stand up and walk out of that room, you're not going to like do the first thing on your list, then it's just a list. It's just thinking on paper. You've made it more real. Maybe the next step is to tell somebody about it. Tell somebody about what you want to do. When I first started this journey, I was always thinking about how I could almost like fit in this side of me into conversations. And now it's becoming more of like, this is just me. This is who I am. And in some ways, I think that sounds like embodiment to me, like getting closer and closer to feeling into the ways that you want to feel. So get up, do something, talk to somebody. What's the worst that can happen? They won't be interested. Then you're no further off than before, but you're also no further behind. Just remember that how other people react and what they think, maybe they just don't understand what you're doing. But the people who understand will understand. So find those people. Find your people, talk to them, make it real. The more that you make it real, the more real it becomes. Write it down on paper, manifest it, say it out. Talk to people, and then see what happens. How I ended up moving forward, I had a plan of finishing off and scheduling 2 additional sessions between now, which is August 29th, and the end of September. I had given myself a month to schedule in these 2 sessions. And I ended up putting myself out there in a group chat where I'm like, like offering a session to the spouse of a friend, saying like, hey, like I do this. If they're interested, I'm happy to arrange. And they said yes. So then that's one session. And then another was I put it out onto Instagram in a story. I just said, hey, like I'm doing these things. Are you stuck? Let's chat. And I had a friend reach out. So that's 5. That's it for today. Super. Thanks for your cooperation.